Alright guys, I'm going to be talking the feature pack again this week as more and more interesting and some mind-boggling news has come out, which I'm sure you're all raving about. And it was actually supposed to be just me tonight, but due to some last-minute switching, I will have a assistant host tonight. But before that, let's actually get the theme song right this time, and stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright, folks, disregard the constant incessant typing, but I have a special guest tonight, some who I'm sure most of you know, but, Photoshop, I think. But anyway, I'm joined by Saune, so...
Hi.
So yeah. Welcome to your first live show.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
Yeah, Bromms had some last minute things that he really needed to take care of, so yeah, it was kind of a last minute thing, and I was ready to go by myself, but I managed to get Saune to jump on here, so. And you get to see her. This is I've watched her draw and stuff before, but as you can see, this is an open source program. She's using, not Photoshop, which clearly shows my knowledge of anything to do with editing of any kind, or drawing, or art in general. It's a miracle that this show gets uploaded every Friday. So.
This program is, discovering this program is why we have the comic, with the program that I was using before to do my art. I did not have the capability of inserting text, and thus it was way too much to try to do the comic. So you have this program to thank for the comic.
All right.
I guess.
Well, it's very, very thankful. We've received quite a bit of positive feedback that I've seen on the comic, so that's exciting. But yeah, so I didn't have time to grab a meme. I was actually gonna try to put together. I have the Bad Luck Bromms image, and I wanted to throw up some text around that about, like, wanted to do the podcast, you know, some sort of bad luck Bromms, but couldn't get it up there, so. Not enough time, didn't want to make us run late, so. But yeah, it's probably going to be a shorter show, just, there has been a lot of news, but everyone and their mother has covered it, and I'm sure you're all foaming at the mouth over it already. So, we'll just kind of glance over it and talk about our favorite parts, but, I guess we'll move on. We didn't have a question of the week. Let's move to shoutouts. So, Saune, this is kind of a last minute thing for you. Do you have any shoutouts?
Uh, aside from, I guess, sort of nameless plug or something, shout outs to all the people, the contestants and whatnot, for the comic contest. That took, like, normally when you plan time, you're supposed to, like, double the time. Yeah, that was not even close to the amount of time that we needed to cover and discuss everyone's entries. We had a lot of trouble trying to narrow them down because it was all like, I like this one, and I like this one, and stuff like that. So shout out to all the contestants. That was really awesome.
Yeah, I just due to a bunch of stuff going on IRL, I was not able to write that article that I had mentioned already.
Yeah,
I
no.
will write it tonight. Like after the show ends, I will write the article. But we have chosen our winners, so we will announce them in the article that's going to go up, and we'll post that everywhere. And then starting next week, you'll start seeing the biography pages of the new characters that'll be joining the cast in the comic. So be on the lookout for that. And congrats to everybody who won.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that pretty much sums up my shoutouts. I haven't really popped in game much lately, just because I did a little bit, and I've been more or less excited about all the stuff that's been happening with the feature pack. But we actually did receive some mail, and this was 2 days ago from, I'm going to go with Gabal as the name, and said, I wanted to share with you a video my server mate did. I hope you all enjoy. At the beginning there's some WW roaming and fights, but the best part starts at 4:15, where you can see somebody commenting, I wish golems could Riverdance. Well, what follows is precisely that. Enjoy it. Everybody on Gondera did, both in making it and watching the end result. So let me pull that video up, and I'll get it running over here on YouTube. We'll get it up. I think I saw it. Oops.
That'd be nice, Tom.
Just what everyone wants to hear.
I'd like to see golems do the river dance.
Oh my god, how cool would that be? She looks really pro. Oh, except for these guys. Hi!
Spin to win.
Alright, let's get this back up. Yeah, so thank you, Gabal, or Gabal, however you pronounce your name, for the Golem Riverdance video. That was amazing. I didn't know that you could make Golem's Riverdance, and apparently I was sadly mistaken. So, unfortunately, Saune, you could probably only watch it with the stream up, just because of the nature of how this goes, but...
Yeah, I actually, because I have the stream muted, I'm going to have to watch it later.
Yeah,
Or
I can
get it
send
from you or something like
send you
that.
the video,
but
yeah.
the noises coming through your mic to me, just, yeah, you have to send this to me.
Alright, I will definitely do that. So yeah, if you have any other weird, interesting fan videos that you or your guild or your server has made, please send them to us. We will show them here live on the show. I will gladly link them, and I'll put it out to kind of our little friend network to just spread the word out to check out these awesome videos. And again, just as a kind of a follow-up, if you are listening to us on iTunes, which I've been getting better about making sure I update right after or as close to after the show as possible. There's a lot of things that happen because the Let's Lore goes up on Friday. The podcast has to go up immediately after. I have to update all the websites and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things going on, making sure the comic is good to go and stuff as well. So just bear with me, iTunes. We should be up to date, but just keep that in mind. If you'd like to watch us live, though, it's almost every single Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Chronicles of Tyria. Sometimes it's on Saturday morning. It's probably going to be a once-a-month thing. It may end up being twice a month in April, just because I have a lot of out-of-area meetings for work. So we'd either have to cancel, but instead of canceling one, we just push it to Saturday. So we'll see. Anyway, you guys don't want to hear about that, though. Let's move on and talk about... Well, actually, I lied. Before we talk about the feature patch, just wanted to remind everybody of the ArenaNet Tournament of Legends, the Guild Wars 2 PvP tournament that's coming up. I will link it in the description right now. I'll link it in the description, rather, and I'll link it in the chat right now.
The prizes look awesome.
Yeah, first place gets a legendary weapon, 2,000 gems, and 2 Black Lion tickets, and then it kind of scales down from there. But I mean, you can get precursors, you can get a lot of the gifts that are required to get many of the to get a legendary weapon. And now with the changes that we'll be talking about shortly coming to legendary weapons, now is probably one of the best times to get one if you didn't have one already. And I'm not sure off the top of my head about the sign-ups, but I believe the tournament starts April 26th and 27th for Europe, and the 3rd and 4th for North America. But the proper information will be in the description, or you can check out the link that I just posted in chat, or that will be in the description for more information. And before we completely run through all the feature patch craziness, I did want to talk about, I want to add a new segment to the show, where I want to highlight the Guild Wars 2 community and the artists and the crafters and the cosplayers and, you know, the photographers and the knitters and all the people out there that make Guild Wars 2 related things on the internet that are really interesting, that go above and beyond just playing the game. So,
hey, this is perfect for me to be guesting on then.
Yeah, that's actually that's perfect. Yeah, you're right. So, this was actually linked to me by Saune. This is from DeviantArt user Karina, and it is a pretty awesome Quaggan plushie. So you guys can check out the link. I just posted it in the Twitch chat. I'll also post the link in the description. But yeah, it looks like it took about 20 hours to make. She restarted about 3 times, but the end product is just there are no words. It's phenomenal, and it's so close to the source material too.
It's better than if you bought it from, like, it's way better quality than something ANET probably would have provided.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I love the zipper as the mouth to get the quaggan teeth and stuff. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the feature pack, and then we'll touch back on this very interesting living world narrative that was posted up on the forums. But the moment you've all been waiting for, earlier this week on Monday, I believe it was Monday anyway, the 25th of Tuesday rather. The big news for the feature patch that got everybody freaking out all over the place. The addition of a wardrobe system coming to the game. I mean, I don't know. Son, what are your opinions on this?
Okay. I have a friend who have been trying to get into Guild Wars, and she's not entirely into like the MMOs, but she loves RPGs. Even she got excited about the wardrobe. Like, and she knows nothing about Guild Wars. No matter how much I keep repeating it to her. It's so awesome, and I am so much more inclined to be buying the gem store armors and stuff because I don't have to limit it to a single character anymore. Stuff like that, to be able to choose your armors and test out the dyes at the same time, because dye makes such an impact on how armors blend together. Like, it's so awesome. Like, the whole system. I mean, it sucks because I just loaded up on the gem store transmutation crystals. And I know it's only worth 3 charges now with the new system, but whatever. I'll have 1 billion freaking charges on my account.
And it'll be good. It is a good way to sell the charges. You'd get a lot more people to buy that than transmutation stones, I believe. But
yeah.
No, I I love the advent of this wardrobe. I'm glad I spent time and glory and things maxing out my PvP locker, because my understanding is that it will be linked. You know, because you'll have those skins unlocked, and I have some pretty awesome skins via PvP that I would love to have PvE armor based off of that.
That reminds me, yeah, I need to go get the Stalwart set.
Yeah, so, but lots of interesting things. Basically, any way that you would acquire a piece of armor that makes it account bound will then unlock it within your hero wardrobe tab. But you know what? Rather than me try to explain it all, there's a very nice, handy, concise video that ArenaNet put together. It runs about 2 minutes, where they actually talk about it, and you can actually see some of the features live, since we'll be waiting till the 14th to actually see them. So I'm just going to put that up for you guys to watch, and that'll also give Saune some time to continue to draw. And I well recognized long before who this character is, but it's that she's drawing, but it's interesting. So I'll play that video right now.
Hey, I'm Matt Werfel, one of the game designers here at ArenaNet, and I'm here to talk to you about the account wardrobe feature, which goes live on April 15th. So for account wardrobe, we looked at all the gear that you can get in the game, the weapons and armor, and we knew that it was a little bit difficult to look around and see, how do I control my look in the game? What pieces of armor do I want to get? What weapons do I want to get? How do I want to customize my look and feel? We took all of those things and we said, we need to make this really easy for people to use. We want you to be able to customize your look at any time. And we want all of the work that you're doing across your account to be able to be accessed by all of the characters on your account. So when you log in on April 15th, you'll see all the items that you have on your character, and you'll notice that there are some changes. As you collect items and weapons in the game, you're unlocking the skins. You can go into your hero panel, and you'll see a few changes. Equipment is there. It's the tab that it's always been. There's also a tab for wardrobe, and when you click on wardrobe, you'll see our new transmutation system. It lets you go in and see all of the skins that you've collected across the game. You can assign those skins to different weapons, you can assign them to your armor that you have equipped, and you can preview your look right there, and then you can click apply. Once, bam, you're done. Every piece of armor and weapon that you collect across the game unlocks a skin, which you can go and use in the wardrobe in your hero panel to change your look. We also made some changes to the dye system. all the dies are now account bound. So all of the dies that you've collected on each of your characters is available for use. You can go into the hero panel, and below the wardrobe tab you'll see a button that says dies. You can click on that and you can go and you can preview all of the dies. The changes that you make in both the wardrobe panel and the die panel can be applied at the same time. So you can change your look, change the color scheme, click apply, and you're done. One of the other changes we've made is to the account vault. When you go to the account vault, you'll see a new tab. It's called the account wardrobe. It looks like 2 doors to a wardrobe. When you click on it, you'll see all of the skins in the game, all the weapon skins, all the armor skins. You can sort, filter, and search to your heart's content. I know it's changed the way that I play, even in a dev environment. I go in there and I spend a lot of time clicking, seeing what different looks I can have, and I found a lot of things that I didn't know were in the game. For more information on the wardrobe system, be sure to check out our blog on guildwars2.com.
So, yeah, that pretty much sums it up nicely, but I'm so excited for this because, yeah, I have a lot of gem store skins. I have a lot of the armor you get from the living story, and all that stuff you only get one shot at. And I mean, all the rare weapon skins that I've collected, and if I read it's gonna be if you transmuted something, whatever you had and what you most recently transmuted to will also be unlocked. The skin will also be unlocked, if I read that correctly. Which is great because every time I didn't really like any of the ascended gear, but I made it so that I could have the stats. So I'd love to have both skins, which would be fantastic. Also, Naveen brought to my attention that we reached 300 Twitch followers, so thank you to the last few who followed us here on Twitch. That's fantastic. But yeah, I was thinking, I really hope there's achievements tied to maxing out like the wardrobe, the account vault that they talked about in the video.
Oh yeah.
I really would love, because adding achievements to that would drive people even further to try to collect everything.
Oh, for sure. My only concern is I don't know if he stated it and I just didn't catch it or what, but how do you recharge the charges on the transmutation? Like, will that still be available in the game? Because, like, I know right now you get those yellow transmutation stones occasionally from the game. So, are they still going to be available? That's my biggest fear.
I can answer that.
Yay!
More or less. I mean, with some certainty. As they mentioned in the blog post, which I guess I'll just link it to everybody if you haven't read it, but I'm sure you have if you want to kind of follow along. The transmutation stones, the yellow ones that work for armor levels 1 to 79, those will trade in at a 3-to-1 rate. So for every 3 of those you trade in, you'll get 1 transmutation charge in the wardrobe.
Oh, so they're like a consumable then?
Yes.
In that sense.
Yeah,
okay.
And then the transmutation crystals, the ones that work for level 80 that are in the game currently, those trade at a 1-to-1 basis. So for each one you trade in, you get 1 charge. But if you look in the window, it'll show, like when you're looking through your wardrobe, on the right side, it'll show like a transmutation charge image, then it'll say how many you have, and then next to it is a link for buy more. So you'll most likely be able to then go into the gem store and just buy transmutation charges straight away. So that, again, I feel like people would be much more likely to buy transmutation charges than, I mean, people obviously no doubt are buying the stones and the crystals, and you can't actually get them for dailies. You can get them out of Black Lion chests and things like that. So I wonder if the transmutation charges will then show up in Black Lion chests, or if you'll only be able to buy them directly from the gem store. But either way is fine by me. I have so many of the transmutation crystals that I'll be set for a long time.
Yeah, see, I read it originally like they were doing away with the stones and crystals, and that they were going to be replaced with a new item.
They are, yes. I'm sorry if I made that unclear. They will be replaced in the gem store with transmutation charges, which you'll just be able to buy to power your wardrobe, basically. If that makes sense. But if you have them currently, you can trade them in.
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah, my concern was just when you're done using all of them up, Are you getting more from doing map completion, or what have you? Charges, that is.
I don't know. They may tweak the map completion rewards to not like take that off the loot table, maybe add something else in. I guess we'll really have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, I really hope that they give you either the stones that you can then consume for charges, or they give you charges, because that's the best way to introduce new players and stuff to transmuting. Because otherwise, if it's a gem store only thing, then it's a gem store only thing. I usually don't buy gem store only things.
Well, if you'd buy
until I
transmutation
got
charges,
addicted to
wouldn't you?
Guild Wars.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said, but you'd buy transmutation charges, wouldn't you? If when those come into the game.
I will, because I know about the transmutation system.
Yep.
But as a new player that's never played.
But maybe they'll give you some to start. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Or, you know, that could also maybe be like an option for like a living story reward in the future. You know, like some of those rewards we had, it's like choose this thing or this thing.
Right.
One of those could maybe be like, oh, unidentified dyes or transmutation charges, since unidentified dyes will be removed from like the loot table for things that drop.
Oh, that note, I found but forgot to save the link. Oh, it's via the wiki. You can get to it. There's the gift of color.
Yeah.
Is being dropped from 250 unidentified dyes down to 100 identified dyes because of them removing it from the drop table.
Yeah, and that, I feel like that is definitely, obviously, a good call, because getting 250 unidentified dyes without having to just buy them would take forever. Although, actually, it wouldn't take that long, because you could convert your laurels into unidentified dyes via the laurel vendor. But that still would take a while. And they will still probably come out of Black Lion chests, I assume. And you'll also be able to, I think they said there's going to be Mystic Forge recipes that will yield unidentified dyes, and you can still craft them and craft the various hue dyes via cooking crafting. So, which also again could make the price for cooking materials go up, if that's going to be one of the only ways to get unidentified dyes. And I would be curious if they'll still keep them in the Black Lion chests as like a random drop, because if they're going to be removing transmutation crystals and unidentified dyes from the Black Lion chests, that could theoretically allow you a greater chance to get some of the more rare things, like the hairstyle contracts and the merchant contracts and those kind of things.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited to have... Oh, one of the other little things about the wardrobe is you can click on, you know, whatever you're looking at in the wardrobe, gloves, chest piece, whatever, and it'll show up on your character so you can preview what it looks like with the existing armor and pick what you want, and then the little pop-up will say, like, these changes will cost 4 transmutation charges. Do you want to apply it or reset it? So it'll allow you to kind of preview things. Same thing with the new dye system. If you click on the dye and mouse over the different parts of your armor, it'll actually update live on your character. So you can see what it looks like without actually having to dye and then uncheck and go back and forth.
There's also the eyedropper tool. I really like this red. Which freaking red is it?
Yeah, it's because there's so many colors to choose from. And now that I wish, you know, I mean, I was glad that I had several Abyss and Celestial dye in my bank for new characters I hadn't created yet. And I managed to make a decent chunk of money when the market blew up.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently, thank you, Adam, I missed that. He said it was correct. 3 transmutation stones equals 1 charge, 1 transmutation crystal equals 1 charge. And he says 1 transmutation splitter equals 5 charges, he thinks.
Awesome.
So that's pretty interesting.
Well, those transmutation splitters are really expensive, and they're being completely made a moot point by this system.
Unless you want to go back in and try to grab some more skins that you had to unlock them, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the preview. The die system looks great. Having this is huge, and again, it adds on top of adding the being able to quest for traits. Having this also allows you more things to kind of search for and do and run around and figure out that there are a lot of karma related skins that you just wouldn't know about, or like recipes that you have to find out in the world from complete an event chain, get a recipe, get all of the recipe pieces from all the surrounding event chains to then be able to craft a whole set of armor. So
yeah, there's a lot of light armor that's like that. I mean, unless you went like digging through the wiki because you're constantly bored at work, like I was, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. So, yeah. So let's move on. And actually, now that I think about it, they're coming up with this way to make sure you don't get kind of left out with your transmutation charges and your crystals and stones and splitters. But they have brought in this new system where we're going to be able to reset our traits whenever we want. I'm curious if you had any of the automatic trait reset things that you can buy from the gem store. Will those be tradable in for something in return, since people that had those now will have absolutely no need for them?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because I've never personally purchased one outright, but I have received them occasionally out of a black line chest, so I have like 2 or 3. Or maybe even more than that, I don't know, but I'm never going to use a trait reset, and once this patch goes live, I won't have any reason to. So I wonder if they'll just disappear from my inventory, or if I'll be able to kind of trade them in for something, because that would be, that'd just be a little quality of life thing. I mean, if I lost them, again, I was never going to use them anyway, so I wouldn't be heartbroken. But
you wouldn't, but some people would be mighty pissed.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And I guess if I was at ArenaNet, I would probably pull them from the gem store right now, just so people don't accidentally buy them. But you know what? I guess
they already were. They already are.
They already are. Okay, the automatic trait resets.
They got pulled when the new traits were released.
Okay.
The very first block.
Okay.
There was a hot patch for it.
All right. Well, that's good then. So that solves that. But if there was a way to trade them in for something, anything. I mean, even if I have to wait till if the Bazaar of the 4 Winds comes around again and have to trade them into some vendor that really wants them there, I would do that. I would wait.
If you knew it was coming.
True. Because right now it's just taking up bank space.
Yeah.
So.
Which you'll end up with a lot more of now, but.
Yeah, once I can add all like my one-time skins and things like that. And I guess just briefly to touch on the fact that there is also going to be an appearance slot, kind of similar to how there was in Guild Wars 1, where you'll be able to apply any set of town clothes that you've had. Like if you have a full like winter's outfit or whatever, so you can wear that, but still use your armor to have it over your armor to have it out in the world. So that's pretty exciting.
It is, but there's still some people that are getting upset. I was in the forums, which is very unusual for me because I was looking for SAD stuff for Bromms. He was getting very upset that there's been no word. But crud, where was I going with this?
Town clothes.
Right. A number of people have made outfits out of the individual pieces of town clothes.
Yep.
And now they can't make an outfit. So they can't have their custom little outfits. It's gonna be things like the prince, oh my god, me and the names, but the prince and the witch outfit or the cooking outfit, like whole bundles.
Yeah.
So unless there's a tool somewhere where you can make a bundle,
that would also be something that people, I don't know if people would buy, but that's the potential for some more gemstone money, like a town clothes bundler.
Yeah. And then they were talking about like some of the one-offs, like a lot of the town clothes that are not available in the store right now are going to be turned into tonics.
Yep.
And another thing that I found with the discussion about that is, like, if you get a shirt tonic, you'll put on the shirt and then, like, some appropriate, so you're not naked below the waist, filler.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means that you can start applying more than one tonic on top of yourself to make these outfits, or what?
Yeah, I'm curious too, because I don't normally run around in town clothes, but one of my characters I did make a full outfit, so, and I would actually prefer to use that outfit when fighting over the armor that I actually had. But, you know, I mean, I understand the complaints from people, but, yeah, I guess once it goes live, we'll really know more.
Yeah.
But, this past Tuesday, there was new stuff in the gem store, and then we'll jump back to the feature patch. Were you interested in any of the things that came out in the gem store recently? Have you seen what's come out in the gem store recently?
I have been kind of head down with the comic and stuff.
That's fine.
I saw that there was dyes. I
Yep.
haven't seen what dye colors they are, because last time we had the codes, they were for the wrong color. Keto, I think, got the logging axe. I already have an infinite logging axe, so yeah, I didn't really look too much into what was actually coming into the shop.
The dyes, I believe they're like a tealish shade. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've seen some of them look really good. The logging axe is pretty neat looking, and again, it's a frost wasp logging tool. And I don't believe a frost wasp is like in the game. There are no frost wasps, you know.
Yeah.
Like anywhere in like Frostgorge or anything like that, there are no frost wasps. So I'm wondering if that means there's gonna be new enemies in the future or what.
Yeah, well, I read the description for it, and it's a mecha wasp that they threw frost magic into. So.
Okay. Oh yeah, actually reading it right now. As part of the effort to clean up Lion's Arch, I've scoured the city for bits and pieces of Scarlet's twisted Watchwork army. We've reassembled the parts, thrown in some frost magic, and created an eco-friendly infinite logging tool. Alright, and there's a new new finisher, the Golem Pummeler, which I super like.
Yeah?
Yeah, you summon a golem and it just basically just wails on them. And then it like rockets off into the sky. So I bought that one. I already have a couple of permanent finishers, but I like this one, so I bought it.
I don't go into PvP very often, and I don't know if it's because I'm a thief or what, but no one uses finishers on me. It's insulting! They sit there and they beat on me, and it's all like, I went into this one match, and the same guy, over and over and over, was taking me out. He had figured out which route I kept going, was just waiting for me every time. And he wouldn't bother using a finisher. I even stopped teleporting away from him. He still wouldn't just use a finisher. Leave me some dignity.
Alright. Well, I promise if we ever get into a PvP match, I'll make sure I have a finisher on.
Good.
Just to be sure. Little tweaks to the looking for group tool are going on. One of the huge updates that's huge for me as a guild leader and for all guild leaders, I'm sure, is a tweak to the guild UI to allow you to see the last login date for your guild members. So if you're running out of space or you want to have a more representative amount of how many active members you have, if you go and look at like, 90% of our members haven't logged on in a year, well, I'm safe to say they're probably not going to log back on. But you never know.
Well, my question about that is, what about ones who log in all the time but they're never repping your guild? Because I'm actually technically part of like 3 guilds, but I'm only ever in CoT because I literally left each other one for the next one down the list.
Mm-hmm. That is a good question. If they log on to, I'm assuming it's just when them physically being in the game, but it would be interesting if it was the last time they were like logged on and repping your guild.
Yeah, that I would feel would be more useful than when they last logged in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything's better. More options like that is always better, and it's better. Anything's better than what we have now, which is really the only roundabout way is to try to use their name to figure out on the leaderboards the last time that they received an achievement point, and try to base it around that. And that's obviously not accurate, because if people don't do their dailies or stuff like that, or they just play a certain game type or what have you, they could still be logged in and not collecting achievement points. So
Right. Armpits are hard.
Also, I think Alicarline is talking to you in the chat, and she says, "Don't ever leave us.
Oh, head down. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Don't ever leave us, please," she says.
Oh, no, I won't leave you. I'm more likely to leave the game. How many... Alu, and everyone else, how many freaking facets of CoT am I now in?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, you're pretty
I'm not
invested.
leaving.
You will be, I mean, things will be crippled if you leave, so don't do that. But anyway.
Yeah.
The account-bound world experience, we've heard a lot about that for a while. And I'm pretty excited because I have several World v World characters that have, anywhere from levels 20, 5 to 50. So being able to consolidate all my world experience, I'd love to see how many levels I jump up when I combine them all together.
That would be really fun to see, because every time you log into one, you get all this stuff, because you get all the dies for the duplicate die sets, and then you get all this experience. You actually get to watch your account, bump up.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be cycling characters a lot on the 15th. Got 17 or something to go through right now. So that was something that we kind of had heard about for a while. This other one was kind of interesting. I did not expect the legendaries are now account bound, or they will be account bound. Yeah, no, I think it's great, but I think also the fact that with the wardrobe, you'll also have the skins across multiple characters, assuming that legendary skins do show up in the wardrobe, which I would imagine they would.
I don't know, I almost kind of hope that they don't, because then they're not really special, but at the same time, they need to, so that if you skin your legendary with something else, you need to be able to go back to the legendary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, and the other one that completely shocked me, Ascended gear is now account bound as well, which is huge, because making Ascended gear is a pain. So
yeah, I've heard of people who take months to be able to do it, because they don't already have all the crafting materials sitting around.
Yeah, it's well, my main question though is, will Ascended trinkets also be included in that becoming account bound? Because I actually have, I think on my Ranger, I had a whole set of Ascended gear, and then due to changes in traits, it completely destroyed that build. So I had a full set of Ascended trinkets for that character, and then it just kind of disappeared because I didn't need it anymore. So I'd love to move those off of that character to a character that will actually end up using them. But that would be great to have, I have my hammer. I wouldn't put it on any other character, but having Ascended stuff, especially if you have a lot of alts and you craft a set of Ascended gear and you don't play them all the time, being able to be like, oh, well, this kind of similar build will work on this other class that I have that also uses heavy or medium armor or what have you.
Yeah.
And then again, with a wardrobe, then you could reskin it to fit whatever character you want.
Yeah. Or yeah, like they suggested, if you switch sets, because Ascended gear takes so long to make, you feel almost locked into your stats there. So
yeah, no, I mean it would be devastating if you made Ascended stuff and you accidentally clicked the wrong thing and made it the wrong armor, because it takes so long and so much time and materials to make. So it would be it's going to be pretty great to have that all count bound. So that was something that came out. That was earlier today. And the other one, which I wasn't really expecting, the removal of cost to repairing damaged armor.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Well, apparently,
like, it's great, but it wasn't all that expensive in the first place, honestly.
no, I mean, I do kind of get the perspective of, for the new players, you know, it takes away kind of, I mean, it's kind of like a negative thing that they would have to spend money and they're still new to the game. But then, and their ArenaNet's whole point is the penalty is to have to go to the armor smith to then get your armor fixed. So, in having to leave what you're doing to go over there if your armor breaks, that's the penalty. And, you know, rather than the monetary value of it. And I don't imagine they get a lot of gold sync on armor repair costs in the grand scheme of things, because it's only a couple silver at the max.
Yeah.
But apparently that's because Evan Nashblade has decided to make all of Tyria's armor repair professionals salary now, so you don't have to pay them to repair their armor. You can just use the anvil and they'll do it for free.
I think that's a cute little
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah, I super love when they like put the little bit of lore behind things. I wish that would happen for all more updates.
Yeah.
But they're going to be tweaking the amount of gold coming out of champion loot, but it says just the gold, not like the loot itself, just the gold that comes out of the bags. And
which isn't that much.
No, and I really don't see. I have no problems with that.
Well, they're removing a lot of the gold sinks, so
yeah.
Because I mean, ascended crafting consumes a lot. So.
Tweaks to the Mystic Forge. We're adjusting the distribution rate of rares and exotics for more variation in output, but precursors will not be affected. What that means, who knows? Maybe that means they'll be adding more. What I think, in my mind, would be the most interesting is putting more skins in the Mystic Forge, like to come out when you forge. Like, let's say you put, 4 exotics in, you're going to get an exotic out, but they add, like, let's say out of the table of, you put in 4 exotic greatswords, and there's a table of maybe, I don't know, say 20 greatsword skins that you could get by doing that. Now, let's say they made it like 30. Add new skins in there. I think that would be good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is if they make it more useful, because right now it's literally called the Mystic Toilet for a reason, because it's a toilet. So if they're improving the use of Mystic Forge, like to actually use it to do things other than known recipes with known results, then yeah.
Well, Carolina says, I read that and thought, this is what Lag wanted. Well, I mean, Evan Nashblade, see, he came through for everybody. Reduced, took away the armor repair costs. So, did you really vote for the right person? I don't know. But, I won't bring up old battles, because, mostly because I lost, but, so that's pretty much been the major news that's happened. We will be getting some news tomorrow, I believe. There's another feature pack announcement tomorrow, and it's the Solid Foundation, I believe, is the one that comes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. A Solid Foundation. Any thoughts on what that could be?
I don't know anymore. I really don't.
Yeah, I was not sure what to expect when we got the wardrobe and account bound dies, and the next two were account bound and removing restrictions. Like, those were the names, and I was like, what could they possibly do? So, want to hear my probably ridiculous thing for a Solid Foundation?
Do it.
I really want it to be either a complete overhaul of the home instance somehow, or guild halls.
Ooh, yeah,
I,
that's
I'm
sound.
I mean, I'm thinking foundation in the truest sense of like what the base that you would build like a house on.
Right,
But
right.
that would also make sense if it was like a rebuilding the home instance to have your life, as it were, your character's life to have a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Do I think that that's actually going to happen? Probably not, because the wardrobe is huge, and from what they said, they've been working on it since the wallet came out.
Yeah.
But that makes me really excited for what's going to be the next thing now that this is out.
Right.
But Guy81 in the chat says solid foundation equals bug fixes. That's entirely possible. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
but what fixes would they be doing that they haven't just said bug fixes for?
I have to agree with you. I don't know if bug fixes gets its own post. You know what I mean? Like, that would be something that's tacked on to the patch notes, like at the bottom, not like a whole. When we're trying to promote all the amazing new things we're gonna do, we're gonna make a whole post about bug fixes. Maybe it might be an intro to Living Story Season 2. Like, we've already set up a solid foundation for the living world.
Yeah.
Now, this is like, we have a solid foundation going forward kind of a thing. I don't know, maybe that? What do you think?
That actually sounds pretty plausible. It could be what they learned and what sort of, like, what they learned from this living story and what, they plan to do, going forward, like how they plan to have the living story manifest.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I've read a number of posts, like there was a blog post that was featured by, Guild Wars the other day. And I should find them and link them to you, because they link to us as well, that guy.
Okay.
But he was talking about the living story, and a lot of the letdown, because most of the living story, we didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, they didn't know what they were doing, but we had zero information about what was going on, where they were going with it, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they could, yeah, easily be supplying some information about that. And it would be much appreciated just to sort of know what the format's going to be like for that.
That would actually be pretty interesting. Live Spartan here in the chat says, solid foundation is probably changes to the new player experience / tutorial similar to the Chinese beta or the new PvP reward system. They did mention in the most recent blog about how this is the good time to change it, as they're about to bring out, you know, stuff in China, so this is like the time for change. So that could be possibility, changes to the new player experience. It's actually, if you think about it, a lot of what they've talked about so far has done a lot to help new players to the game.
Well, they actually did say that they were going to add new levels, like new filler, personal story things to help transition between the levels.
Okay.
I remember you said this, like, way back now. I think when China was just entering the rumor scope.
Okay.
About how they did want to smoothen that. Because, I mean, a lot of the personal story is like, okay, go gain 3 levels, talk to Radassoon, go to the far other end of Metrica Province, and then in 6 levels, come talk to me again.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, I do think it will be really fun, and I plan to create a brand new character on the 15th after all the updates, and like try to play through that character without with blinders on, to ignore all of my prior Guild Wars 2 knowledge and just go. Like, get the new traits as they come, do the trait quests to unlock them, you know, do all this stuff as if I was a new player, just to have that experience.
Well, I haven't played Pancake for the last little while because, I mean, she's only level 22,
Mhm.
so I'm thinking I'm going to delete her and remake her to play her on the new system.
Yeah, I just have to. I'll be on the fence about whether or not I use my like double click to gain 20 levels thing,
Yeah.
because I have like 13 of those. So you know, every character I get usually starts at level 20, but
That's a good point, because Pancake I did actually make from level 0, and I don't want to have to play those personal stories over again.
Well, it may be good though. You don't know.
Yeah, well, if they do actually input new steps, I definitely want to play the stories over again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Alright, last thing before we talk about this one little Scarlet Living Story piece. Then next week, let's see, what is it? Tuesday. I'm sorry, next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is Facilitating Friendly Play Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. What do you think? What are we going to get in those 3 posts? And what is so big that it requires 3 posts about it?
Oh man, that's the one thing like I've never been able to figure out entirely for. Like facilitating friendly play. Like maybe they're doing changes to the combo fields.
Maybe. Oh, that could be interesting.
Because there's a lot of things that don't trigger that you think should trigger. Like I can't blast finish some fields. Like you should be able to blast finish all fields and have them do something. Every documentation implies that, but no effect ever shows up for me. And it's not that I'm not blast finishing properly. I know how to blast finish properly finally. It only took me a year to figure out how to do that on my thief. Maybe it would be really awesome that they could color code the combo fields maybe so that you knew what kind of combo field it was, like which one was active, because especially because they stack on top of each other, you can blast finish to try to do a group heal and you end up giving everyone might, and it's all like, that person's now dead. I'm helping!
Yeah, I would actually love to see the player generated and the enemy generated combo fields and AoEs change to how we have had them in the Living Story, where it's like the solid, like translucent red, the full circle.
Yeah.
I would love, players to have like a translucent white one, so that it's friendly.
I absolutely love that, because the thing is it doesn't have that fuzzy extra foot on the outside. Like, still a little fuzzy to the outside, but with the current system, you stand and you're literally outside. Nothing, not even like your coattails are hanging over that line, and you're downed. It's all like, I wasn't in the AoE circle.
Yeah. A couple other things. Alaska says maybe facilitating friendly play. Maybe that's guild halls. Maybe that's why they need 3 whole posts to talk about it. That's a possibility. Because it would help to facilitate friendly play if you had a place for your friends to gather. Alacarolina says maybe it's bigger party size outside of dungeons. That could also be huge and worth 3 things to talk about. Because maybe you need to talk about how you have a solid foundation to then facilitate friendly play.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I really don't know what to... maybe this has something to do with the PvP new reward system. People were saying maybe it has to do with dueling somehow.
Actually, you know what? It could be all of these things, because of the fact that it is 3 freaking posts. I mean, like, and for such a vague and exciting thing, I expect them to be longer posts, not, like, the last few posts have been pretty short, not necessarily full of a whole lot of information. It's been, like, one little thing, and that's it. Whereas the wardrobe was, like, that was a small novel compared to some of these posts.
Yeah, and well, here's my thing. ArenaNet they're usually not one to disappoint when it comes to something like this. Like, they've been pretty sneaky about this, and I can't believe that they would pull out, like, the big guns, like the wardrobe and the dyes early on, and then just have, like, crap for the rest of this. Because if that's the case, that's horrible marketing. You should have been ramping up and then ended with wardrobe, and that would have like blown everyone's mind. But I think that's how I would have done it anyway.
Yeah, no,
save
I
the
think
best.
you're right. Well, because I mean, like, with the last few posts, it's been very exciting, game-changing things, but I've been all like, every time I read it, because my mind has been blown already. It's like, these are like, that's nice. Heck, the thing about not charging for traits, I was like, you guys already said that. Why are you repeating it?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, hang on. Live Spartan linked me something from the Festival here. Go to question 10. Let me see. Question number 10. Are they thinking about putting the bigger bosses that need lots of coordination onto special maps so that those who do this content don't disturb those who want to level in that zone? He refers to the last few bullet points of the April 2014 feature pack release and tells us to wait for those to be revealed, facilitating friendly play 1, 2, and 3. This question will be answered in more detail then. Okay.
No.
So, very interesting. Thank you, Live Spartan, for once again linking all of the most important relevant information. Let's see. Yeah, Guy says people always remember the last post. Alaska says, curious, is all this content plus Season 1 Living Story equal expansion? I don't know. I mean, there have been a lot of... I kind of have talked back to this a while ago that I think this is how features should be released in the game. Save them all up and like do it once a quarter. And give us like a bit, like, keep doing your little tiny... Like, actually, I've really liked what's been happening recently. Like, little tiny living story updates. Little bit that we get every 2 weeks. And then once a quarter, just give us a big chunk all at once. That it, like, so much almost that it overwhelms us. And, like, we get all this hype. Like, think about all the hype and all the people are freaking out and excited about this because they did a perfect thing to just give us a little bit of information at a time. And it's gotten everybody super hyped about the game.
Oh yeah, no, this method that they're using is freaking awesome. I mean, like, every morning, I mean, like, when are they gonna post it? I'm like, I just basically sit on the page, I think, at 5 for a couple hours in the morning. And I think it was like, they're not gonna release it until I go to work. This sucks. And then, like, just before I go to work, I always check, and it's like, it's up, yes! Every time.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to wait to see what comes from these posts, but we'll obviously cover them on the podcast that's most recently associated with those. But be on the lookout. I'm sure you guys are excited, just as excited as we are. And then kind of to just round out the episode here, I'm going to link this here in the Twitch chat. And it's gone around a lot, and a lot of people are sure of it. And it says, narrative lessons. This might have been what you were talking about, actually. Narrative lessons from 15 months of Scarlet. And I don't know if you've seen that song at all.
No, I haven't. This isn't what I was talking about.
I'm not going to go through everything here because there's a lot. But there's a bunch of attachment images, and they're worth clicking on just because they go very much in depth into what could have happened and what happened and what should have happened in this person's mind for the living story. And, you know, number one is the journey is more important than the destination. So all about, you know, proper pacing, and if you find yourself going, no, just keep watching, there's a great twist, you have done something terribly wrong. Especially when the twist after 15 months of ignoring the dragons is the grand revelation that it was dragons. And then it has Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder and says, you went full Shyamalan. You never go full Shyamalan. Power's cheap for the author's pet villain anyway. And then there's that wonderful meme that says, alright gentlemen, we need to make Scarlet's army a more interesting and dramatic threat. And it says, xenophobic alliance and lasers. And then the next one says, bigger xenophobic alliance and more lasers. It's very well done. It talks about how characters should talk with people, not to them. I can't stress enough just the points, like, This is someone that wasn't really in your face like this was awfully done. It's well worded. The arguments are well made. They talk about how Scarlet was going to go through this transformation from the beginning to the end, and they show the image, and she doesn't look any different.
Right.
When you keep adding new toys, old ones gather dust. And I'll just read this one because I like this one. The living story has been obsessed with adding new enemies, new temporary bosses, new alliances, and new lore. Sometimes this is refreshing, but it also means that all the old lore and old creatures suffer a serious case of neglect. Old plot threats languish in the back alley, old creatures aren't being improved as you upgrade AI and monster skills, and old zones are exactly the same as they were at launch. New may be shiny, but the old stuff forms the foundation of your universe. Treat it right. And then there's a couple of NPC stick figures, and it says, "Heroes, heroes, help! Lion's Arch has been overrun." And the first one says, "Wow!" or "How terrible! We must rally at once." And then the second one says, "Pardon me, heroes, but the Ascalon settlement has been under attack by centaurs. The Codan Sanctuary has fallen to the Ice Brood. Thalia's Thorpe is infested with the Nightmare Court again, and separatists are ransacking Ebonhawk." And then the player goes, "Is there an achievement for saving them?" And then the NPC goes, "Well, no, but," and he says, "Then shut up, nobody cares." And here we go. This is my last one, and then I'll leave the rest for you all to read. But lieutenants are the lifeblood of an organization. The main villain cannot carry a dire plot alone. Every army of darkness needs a set of recurring henchmen, subordinates, and sub-bosses that keep the engine of evil running. The character development of the henchmen shines new light on the main villain's methods and mannerisms, why the forces of darkness follow them, and what motivates the rank and file minions to face off against our mighty heroes. And here comes one for you, Saune, because you're here. Quick, name one interesting character from each of Scarlet's 5 factions in Scarlet's Alliance. And then it has 3 ellipses, and then it says depressing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, that speaks to how it is with anything that has a recurring villain. I mean, if you think about any cartoon that you've ever watched that has a villain, or, any movie or movie series, you always have, you have your Shredder, and then you have your Bebop and Rocksteady. And, they are integral to the plot, and they help, tell the story. And that's kind of just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes for an interesting story. So I highly recommend that everyone read this. Even whether or not you agree or disagree, you have to admit that the wording was done excellent, and all the points made were key points. And maybe it'll kind of open your eyes if you were all completely cynical. It'll kind of give you a little bit, more, if you want to argue things, it'll give you an easier way to argue, or a more eloquent way of arguing things. Or if you're just blind ANET fanboy and you want to just grind yourself out in reality, behold the Watch Knight, the glorious display of humanity's innovation. It's a golem with the brass buttocks. Yeah. So, yeah. So I highly recommend you read that. I'd love to hear if you guys have any comments on that. Please send them to us at hosts@chroniclesoteria.com. We will read them out next week on the show. Gotten a little bit better at finding the comments on YouTube, so if you leave stuff there, I'll be able to find that as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, we'll be posting up the winners again just after this for the winners of the contest. And Saune, you kind of obviously wrote it up there in in the little drawing that you did, but
I don't know if they can read that though. Kind of small.
Well, no, I'm actually gonna make it bigger, but you have your one layer just went off that had, there it is. So I think it's this. There we go. So, oh no, they got full screen, so you can go back, just zoom it out a little bit and pull it to the left, or there you go, perfect. Yeah, you're full screen right now. So, you guys got to watch the speed doodle in process as we went through the show. And not only did she speed doodle to this amazing drawing of Carolina, her character, anyway, she also managed to do this while being live on the show and discussing and talking about the living story and doing everything with me here, which was fantastic. So that was, you guys got an insight into how the process works here. And yes, what she has written there says, "Darling, don't you regret leaving me for gum now?" And yes, this is an inside joke that tomorrow's Let's Lore will clear up for anybody questioning what that means. So, yeah, be sure to check out tomorrow's Let's Lore if you want to see what's behind this joke. So, yeah. So, I come back to us here. So, Son, did you have anything that you wanted to mention kind of before we bring this episode to a close?
No. Thanks for having me, guys. I hope it was at least interesting watching the doodle instead of watching me. Trust me, the doodle is much more interesting than me.
Yeah. We should have Son on more so that we can have more live action doodling, just because it's awesome. And I actually do have a question of the week. I don't have the jingle here just because I don't. But question of the week is, what do you think the upcoming posts of the feature pack will be? A solid foundation and friendly, there it is, facilitating friendly play, 1, 2, and 3. What do you believe that those will be? And when we talk about next week's show, we'll actually get to see how close you were. And if any of you guys actually call it and get it right, I will send you some prizes in-game. So next Thursday, we'll have had a solid foundation. So if you want to try to get your answers in for that one, you need to get them in before the blog post comes out tomorrow. But if you want to answer for what you think facilitating friendly play will be, get them to me before next Wednesday, because that's when the blog post goes live. And if you call it, I will send you prizes. And if multiples of you get it right, I will also send you all prizes. So be sure to do that. Best way to get those to me is to email them to me and at hosts, HOSTS, at chroniclesoftyria.com. And just do me a favor and just tell me why you're emailing me. Just be like, this is because I want facilitating friendly play hyphen whatever you think it's going to be. So, we will, yeah, so that's that. So nothing left, Son? We'll kind of close this out.
Yeah, no, I got nothing left. I was trying to dork around with my drawing more, but it's not legible. So, yeah.
I think it's pretty good. So, I think it's actually phenomenal, believe it or not. So, and this is why I have her working on this webcomic, because she, as you can see, can draw amazing art in, God, what was this, 40, I don't know, hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah.
So.
An hour, because I've just been pretty much sitting here listening to you for the last 10, 15 minutes.
Alright, yeah, an hour. Fantastic. Just amazing. Yeah, so for Chronicles of Tyria podcast, episode number 89, I am Lagywn.
And I'm Son.
And we will see you next time. There we go. You guys can't tell, but Son is totally rocking out over there right now. Like, puts Bromms to shame. Naveen's air guitar had nothing on Son's air guitar. It's pretty nuts.